There's still work to be done, and a lot of that is on the trade front today. We're waiting for an announcement here whether or not they got a deal with Canada to bring Canada into that bilateral deal with the United States and Mexico that was announced earlier this week. Will the Canadians join? Won't they join? That's been the suspense all through the week. They haven't been leaking. They haven't been negotiating in public, so we don't really have a good sense of what the specifics are. But speaking last night in Indiana, President Trump gave a bit of a last-minute threat to the Canadians of what might happen if they don't come on board. Here's what he said.
We'll see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, we'll put tariffs on the cars coming in from Canada, and that'll be even better. But I think it's going to happen, and we've really developed a very good relationship. Look, we love Canada, but they have to treat us fairly. They haven't treated us fairly.
So the president there saying, we love Canada, they have to treat us fairly, but if they don't come on board this deal, new tariffs on Canadian autos will be in the picture. So that gives, I think, everybody a little bit more incentive today to get this deal done. We'll wait and see. All the noise has been favorable, but no specifics and no announcement yet. Meanwhile, the president giving an interview yesterday to Bloomberg. We've got a bunch of bullet points here. He touched a lot of different topics in this Bloomberg interview. If we can pull up the full screen, you can see all the different elements that he talked about. He said that the deal with Canada may come Friday or within a period of time. So no specific time frame there from the president on that one. On Europe, he says the European offer for no auto tariffs is not good enough. And then he said that the EU is almost as bad as China on trade. So the president making a number of comments, also saying that he'll withdraw from the World Trade Organization if it doesn't, quote, shape up. And he said that China is not playing on a level playing field in terms of its currency. He also made a couple of comments about the big technology giants, Google and Facebook. The president's been very critical all week. He said many think there's an antitrust issue with Google, Facebook, and Amazon, but he declined to say if Google, Amazon, and Facebook should be broken up. That's classic Trumpian phraseology there when he says many think there's an antitrust issue. He doesn't say he himself thinks there's an antitrust issue. He says many do. So we'll see whether the president wants to take any further action on that. He's been sort of sparring with Google all week, and maybe that will continue through the day today as well, guys.
You got to admit, Eamon, and I don't know how it all finally works out. And you know, we've been around, both of us, a long time, watching how politicians talk and the diplomacy and all that stuff. You can imagine the poor Euros over there. You know, they read this stuff. It's sacre, what? You know, he goes, he says it, and it's petulant, and but it's so, you know, it's just so blunt. And sometimes I think it's deserved. You know what I mean? And so everybody else is walking around with kid gloves and, oh, we, you know, our trading partners and blah, blah. And he says, no, they're almost as bad as China. And it's just, they've never seen anything like this before, ever.
No, they haven't. I tell you, I was in Brussels over the summer with the president, and when he was there for the NATO summit, and the European reaction, I mean, they were sort of like bracing for impact when the president came into town. I mean, it was, they were trying to figure out what's going to happen, how can we get a deal. And a lot of the strategy now at these international gatherings is to pre-bake everything before the president even gets there, to have the American negotiators and the European negotiators figure out exactly what they want the outcome to be, sign everything, seal everything, deliver it all, and then when the president arrives, he can't mess it up, right? I mean, that's sort of how they handle this now diplomatically. And then the president's rhetoric is sort of on a different plane.
I'm not saying it's not going to be effective. That's the thing. They've never seen anything like this. And, I mean, we've seen a couple of cases where they finally just said, okay, whatever, you know, we'll do it. And, you know,
that's the upside. The downside is you don't know what the unintended consequences down the road. And our allies, can we count on them for
It really is a business guy who did a bunch of deals, real estate. And if someone came to him with a deal that was just flat out, you know, not in the interest or taking advantage of you in a business deal, it's like, you're out of your mind. I'll walk away. And
he's not the first tough negotiator in the White House. Lyndon Johnson, when he was in the Senate.
That was a long time ago.
Right, Lyndon Johnson when he was in the Senate, and then when he went to the presidency. I mean, he used to put his arms around guys and kick them in the shins with his cowboy boots to say, you're going to do this deal, right? I mean, this is a little more public affront on some of these issues, but we have seen tough negotiators in the past.
Well, and you know, this week could be a classic example of what you guys are talking about, right? Because the president went out of his way. There was this NAFTA renegotiation that was going on. The president said, you know what, I'm going to cut a side deal with Mexico, and that's it. And Canada, if you want to get in, you can get in, but otherwise we're moving on without you. That message seems to have resonated in Canada, and the Canadians came to the table. I mean, they'd been at the table for a while, but they came in to negotiate hard this week, and we'll see if he gets what he wants by sort of cutting Canada out and operating that way.
But to your earlier point, Eamon, just the idea that the negotiators try and set the table beforehand, you made the point yesterday, I think, that there were a lot of sweeteners that they put into the deal with Mexico, sweeteners for Canada to try and get them back to the table. So behind the scenes, people are working to try and make concessions and try and make it so that all sides can walk away feeling like they won.
Right, and that's why the president's rhetoric operates sort of on a different plane than where the staff and the diplomats operate. You know, there's almost two entirely different things happening at the same time.
Hey,
and you got to sort of make sense of it.